everyday people are much more creative and much more adaptable than the regulators understand. Because if you know, I made a close study of modern monetary theory, and I write about that. And um, Stephanie Kelton, she's the big brain professor at Stony Brook State University of New York. She's the thought leader of modern monetary theory. Also, by the way, chief economic advisor to Bernie Sanders in his two campaigns, and chairman of the Senate when he was chairman of the Senate Budget Committee. But that's their starting place. They're like, what's the problem? We can print as much as we want, have as much debt as we want. They actually say debt is a favor to investors. The government doesn't need the debt. Just give us the wire instructions for Lockheed and we'll send them the money. Why do we have to issue bonds and then pay them? Cut off the debt market is a favor to investors. That's actually what they say. But what she's missing, what the advocates are missing, what the Congress is missing, what everybody's missing is that people will have a revulsion against the dollar. And I remember when I was a kid in the 50s, but not that far removed from the 1930s, there'd always be a great uncle or somebody at the family reunion, and they say, you'd be like 9 years old, say, "Hey kid, don't take any wooden nickels." As advice from your great uncle. Well, I was like, "What's a wooden nickel?" Well, there actually were wooden nickels in the 1930s. In a town, there was a severe shortage of money. The Fed completely screwed that up. Nobody wanted to borrow. Nobody wanted to lend. They weren't creating any money. And there was a shortage of money. And some carpenter in town would take a dowel and slice it and make wooden rounds, and they would stamp it. It wasn't $5 because that was a fortune, 5 cents or whatever. It was a wooden nickel. But if everybody in the town agreed, like I could go into a barber shop and get a haircut and pay for it, the barber could pay his assistant, and that money circulated. It was money. Money, I think gold is a great form of money. It doesn't have to be gold, though. It has to be, whatever it is, it has to be something that everyone has faith in. If you have confidence that if you take it from me in exchange for goods and services, and someone else will take it from you, and that shared belief is sufficiently widespread, it's money. That's all it takes. And so people will go find other forms of money, and they'll do it very quickly because you need money. I mean, you need a medium of exchange. Now, the obvious candidates are gold and silver. I've always recommended American Gold Eagles, 1 ounce American Gold Eagles for as a store of wealth. By the way, I'm not a gold dealer. People always go, "Jim's just selling his product." I don't sell gold. Buy it or not, it's up to you. Knock yourself out. But I do recommend it. But lately, I've been very interested, and then did a little work on the history of the 1/4 ounce American Gold Eagle. It's an 8-gram coin, but that was patterned on the British sovereign, and the British sovereign was not an ounce. It was 7.9 grams. But the reason was it was spendable. Like if I show up with an ounce of gold or 5 ounces of gold, it's like, well, I don't need, I don't need $10,000 worth of groceries. I probably need $100 or whatever to feed my family for a week. So that's where the 8-gram, the 1/4 ounce coin, which would be, even today, it's like $500. But better yet, the 1 ounce silver coin, the American silver. But Canada's maple leaves, and the UK has their own coins. There's a Viennese Philharmonic. There are lots of good coins around the world. But the 1 ounce silver dollar, by the way, that was the dollar in 1780. That's what a dollar was. It was copied from the Spanish doubloon. Pieces of 8, because you would break off an eighth of it, and that's why stocks were traded in eighths for a long time. But that's practical. So a 1 ounce silver coin today is worth about $25, $25, $30, depending on the commission. Well, that's, as we say in Philadelphia, that's walking around money. I mean, you can buy a meal or, 4 silver dollars. When I was a kid, like if you were 10 years old, your parents would give you 10 silver dollars for your birthday present, but it was real silver. I mean, that stack today would be worth $300. But people can go to that. You can get the 1/4 ounce gold coin, which is, in 1910 is a good search. You could board the vessel in Southampton with your purse of sovereigns, go to Shanghai, get off the vessel. That was money good. You could spend that. No, you didn't need traveler's checks. You didn't need anything else. So people will go to forms of money they have confidence in: gold, silver, all right, Bitcoin. I don't know any, but it has its place. And get out of dollars. Now we're seeing a lot of evidence that that's actually happening. The U.S. By the way, Brian, I do this kind of analysis, but I actually teach a seminar on financial warfare at the U.S. Army War College. And I'm involved with the Florida Institute of National Security. It's a think tank kind of group down in Florida, but we have the world's third fastest non-government computer. It's used for a lot of other things, but it's available to us. We're working on artificial intelligence and financial warfare. So I
saw you tweeting pictures of that down there. So I want to ask you a little bit about AI, definitely.
Yeah, that's the new thing. But my point is, I do a lot that is kind of on the front lines of warfare, financial warfare in particular. They don't need me to jump out of helicopters, but that's not the battle space today. I mean, some people are, but the battle space is financial. This is not just a financial economic ancillary vector to a kinetic war. You could argue this is the war. This is a global financial war, and so the fact that we're depending on that in terms of dollars, but confidence in the dollar is eroding. I don't have to go. I think our viewers know the list. China, Saudi Arabia are advanced in discussions to pay yuan for oil. Brazil, China just did a real yuan currency swap facility, so they'll be paying each other. Russia and China are very far along. Russia pays in rubles for Chinese manufactured goods and systems, telecommunications. China pays in yuan for Russian weapons and oil. This is going on all over the world. The BRICS Plus are coming out with a new currency. I talk to people in the Treasury and the Pentagon and the intelligence community, and I tell them what I'm telling you and our viewers, but they don't listen. So I think I told you the one story. I was in a called Vault in the Pentagon, and I was describing kind of what we're talking about right now. And this guy sitting 2 seats away from me, well, one person in between us, he was the assistant, he was a senior official in the U.S. Treasury, and he was assigned to Japan for dollar, yen, international economics, basically. But he was a currency expert in the U.S. Treasury. Interestingly, his name was David Dollar, so kind of an interesting last name for the guy. But I said what I just said, and he sat up and he took both hands and slammed them on the table, palms down, and said, "The dollar has been the global reserve currency. It is the global reserve currency, and it always will be the global reserve currency." And I took a beat and I said, David, I feel like I'm in Whitehall in 1913 listening to John Bull tell me about the British sterling, which, it always will be the global reserve currency. Well, that was over by 1944. So these things take time, but that's the threat, and the regulators don't see it.
Just want to say that you have recorded a video where you go really deep on this, on the upcoming crash that you say is going to be fast, bloody, and unavoidable, but you also explain how people can position themselves to profit from it. Again, people can watch that video at londonreal.tv/Jim. I highly recommend everyone watch that video. It won't be available on socials. Hey, it's Brian Rose, founder of the DeFi Academy. I've told you my 4-week crypto bootcamp is amazing, but don't take my word for it. This is what my students are saying.
The DeFi Academy was an amazing experience for me. It took me totally out of my comfort zone.
In this course, I was challenged, I was held accountable, and pushed to do things that honestly weren't always easy.
It's been phenomenal, and I can't believe we're already up on our 4 weeks. It has flown by.
Going through this DeFi accelerator by far was one of the best courses I've taken.
You do this course, you really get into the nitty-gritty of the activities that will make you comfortable with decentralized finance.
Thank you so much to Brian and everyone at London Real and the DeFi Academy for even putting together an amazing course like this.
Anybody else that wants to do it, please sign up. It is well worth the money.